So, you're with your honey and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer it and the voice is, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl and she say, "My dad is dead." Then who was phone? Hey everyone, it's Ange. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. I've been into creepy things ever since I was a kid. Going ghost hunting with my cousins, reading creepypastas during study hall, making my friends watch salad fingers at sleepovers, that sort of thing. I have this vivid memory though of my cousin and I sitting in her room using some app on my iPod to call random creepy numbers I found on some sketchy random website. At the time, I was old enough to know that the phone numbers probably weren't haunted or anything, but apparently not old enough to know that I shouldn't be dialing random numbers. But she was younger than me, and I'm pretty sure I did a good job of giving her a spook. Recently, that memory came back to me, and I spent the better part of the day trying to figure out exactly which numbers we called. Of course, we tried calling 666 and Booth World Industries, but there were some that I thought I remembered that I just could not find, and searching for those numbers eventually led me to this Reddit post and the subject of the video today, the creepy phone numbers Iceberg. I've actually added a few more entries of my own to this iceberg because I found so many interesting creepy phone numbers during my research that I just wanted to talk more about. A quick disclaimer: don't call any of these phone numbers unless it's specifically mentioned that the number is okay to call. So, in honor of spooky season and childhood nostalgia, let's jump right into it and figure out just exactly who was phone. 666, 666, 6666. Starting off with a pretty well-known number, 666 is just the devil's number or the number of the beast. Supposedly, when you call this number, you will hear distorted voices and ghostly moans and be consumed by the feeling of not being able to end the call. After all, this number is a direct line to the devil himself. A bunch of people on Reddit have also posted that they have received creepy phone calls from this number. Was the devil trying to call them? Or, was someone just using number spoofing to do a silly prank? 088-888-8888. A phone number from Bulgaria. This number is interesting because it's not necessarily calling or receiving calls from this number that is creepy, but rather what happens to the owners of this phone number. The first owner of this number, Vladimir Grashnov, died unexpectedly around a month before his 49th birthday. The next person the number was issued to, Konstantin Dimitrov, was when he was only 33 years old. And the person who owned the number after him, Konstantin Dishlev, was also at only 28 years old. Within the span of just 5 years, every person who was assigned this number had an awful premature death. After the third person to own this number was it was reported that the phone number had been permanently removed from use, and it has gained a reputation as a cursed phone number. The one thing I find funny about this number, though, is that this is almost exactly the phone number for a local car accident injury lawyer, and like everyone from around here knows the little commercial jingle for it. Call 888-8888. 630-296-7536. Ah yes, Booth World Industries, the phone number you call in order to schedule someone for remodeling. The post on the No Sleep subreddit that spawned hundreds of YouTube videos with titles like, "Don't call Booth World Industries at 3 a.m. The creepypasta that I was at least partially convinced was real when I first heard about it 13 years ago. Yeah, so this number, while attached to a creepy story, is not real. Well, not real in the sense that you won't actually be able to schedule someone's remodeling or be remodeled yourself, but you could actually call this number and get a pre-recorded message.
You have reached Booth World Industries. Your number has been logged and traced. A service representative will be with you shortly for remodeling. We at Booth World Industries say thanks. You have a marvelous day.
Sometimes the number would call you back, and sometimes your call would even be answered, but the number is just owned by the guy who wrote the original No Sleep post, a horror author named Christopher Bloodworth. Bloodworth, Booth World. The name of the company is just an anagram of the author's name. I actually tried calling this number while researching for this video, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be in service anymore. 090-4444-4444. Also known as Sadako's number, when you call this phone number, you are said to hear strange, creepy noises, and then, within 1 week of making the call, something terrible will happen to you. If any of this sounds familiar, it's because the story of this cursed number partially comes from the Japanese movie and horror series Ring, Sadako being the name of the creepy girl with the long hair in her face, and the whole you die in 1 week thing being the premise of the movie. The thing I find most interesting about this phone number is why it is made up of all of the number 4. In Japanese, the number 4 can be said in 2 ways, yon or shi. Shi just also so happens to be the word for death, so the number 4 is associated with bad luck. What phone number then would be the most cursed if not one that was all the number 4? And I just have to mention that this number is also almost exactly the same as another local car accident injury lawyer.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 444-4444.
Why are they all picking cursed phone numbers? Maybe they want us to get in an accident so we have to pay for their services. 909-390-0003. When you call this number, everything you say will be repeated back to you, but in your own voice. This is just one of many doppelganger numbers, a phone number you can call to get into contact with your doppelganger, a person who looks and sounds exactly the same as you, but who is not you. Meeting your doppelganger might not be something that you want to do, as it is an omen of misfortune or your impending death. Okay. What this number actually is a number to test your phone's audio quality and delay. There's a bunch of phone numbers that are used for testing calls like this, and no, it is not cursed or creepy. It's actually a pretty fun and safe one to try and call. And if you tell someone a creepy story before making them call the number, you might actually give them a little scare. 323-953-3200. This is the phone number for the Church of Scientology in Los Angeles. Not haunted, but still scary. Out of all the numbers here, seriously, for real, just don't call this one. 801-820-0263. When you call this number, at first you hear sounds similar to ones made by a glass harp. Then, a man begins to whisper a string of numbers. Once he has finished reading out the numbers, there is a loud, unsettling, almost moan-like noise, a beep, and then silence. Some people even say they can hear their name being spoken back to them. It has not been confirmed what the numbers the man says mean either. 11317, 11317. It's not a phone number. It could be interpreted as coordinates, but it just leads to some random buildings in Brooklyn, and as far as anyone knows, it's not any sort of cipher or code. The origins of this phone number seem to come from a place we've already talked about on this Iceberg, Booth World Industries. Back in 2016, YouTuber Britty44 called the Booth World Industries number, and in response received a text message containing only this phone number. That seems to be the only known time Booth World Industries has responded to someone with this phone number. Other than that, that's pretty much all that's known about this number. And as of me making this video, this number doesn't work anymore, so perhaps we will never know exactly what this number was for. 999-999-9999. In Thailand, it is believed that if you call this number, you will be granted any wish you desire. However, there is always a cost for your wish, and something horrible will happen to you soon after making your wish. There's actually a Thai horror movie from 2002 called 999-9999 about this exact premise, but I'm not exactly sure if the rumor came from the movie or if the movie was made because of the rumor. Many people in the US do report receiving creepy phone calls from a phone number made up of all nines, but there's actually actually a non-supernatural explanation for this. If you receive a call from 999-999-9999, all it means is that the call is coming from a number that is chosen to block its caller ID, so the phone provider does not have access to the number, and by default, your phone just shows the caller's number as all nines. 1-000-000-0000. This phone number will supposedly connect you to the afterlife, where you can hear faint voices and whispers, as well as your name being distantly called. Some say that a call to this number that only lasted a couple minutes actually felt like it took hours. In some Asian countries, the urban legend goes that if you receive a call from this number, a male voice will say that you need to tell at least 15 people about this phone number, or you will meet an untimely death. In reality, if you receive a call from this number, it is almost certain that someone is spoofing their caller ID to this number in an attempt to make a spam call. 800-240-0226. As far as I could tell from my research, there was never anything creepy associated with this phone number. At one point, it was the TTY number for the California Middle Class Tax Refund debit card, but that's all I could find. 270-301-5797. This is the phone number for Here and There Along the Echo, a fun, real-world interactive part of the video game Kentucky Route Zero. Calling this number let you navigate through an automated menu system to learn about the Echo River, courtesy of the Bureau of Secret Tourism, and mentions many locations that are relevant in the fourth part of the video game.
Hello. You have dialed into Here and There Along the Echo, a guide to the Echo River for drifters and pilgrims. This guide is a public service provided by the Bureau of Secret Tourism.
The phone number is out of service now, but if you purchase Kentucky Route Zero and play the game, you can still go through the menu system just like when you were able to call the number. For a while, back around 2015, this number was being passed around as a creepy phone number to call without the added context that it was part of a video game. So, of course, being the way I am, I would make people sit around the phone with me and call this number, somehow all of us thinking it was completely real, and go through all of the different menus and options. The way the man talked, and I guess just the idea that this was actually a real tourism line, freaked out me and everyone else that I showed it to. 508-690-6143. The first thing you hear when calling this number is a beeping noise, almost like a car horn or the sound of a large truck backing up. Then several minutes of banging, like someone is using a hammer on a wood block. All of a sudden, the banging noise turns to static before abruptly being cut off by the standard "the number you have dialed is not in service" message, but it is distorted and interrupted by more of the static noise.
No longer in service. In error. Your call again.
The only thing known for certain about this number is that it is out of Massachusetts, but other than that, it has never been connected to a story, ARG, video game, or anything else. (646-868-1844). A call to this number starts off with odd noises that sound like bells or orchestral chimes before transitioning into what to me sounds like an unintelligible recording of someone reading off a list and ending with a beep. What's even creepier than this short message, though, is what happens after you hang up the phone. You would receive a text message that, at first glance, seems like a normal, coherent sentence, but upon reading is actually just a jumbled mix of random words. Chapter 2 parties its letter no. cheerful, but whatever ladyship disposed yet judgment. Lasted answer opposed to ye months no esteem. The blog The Ghost in My Machine theorizes that the messages were generated using Markov chains, and that the messages are very much like lorem ipsum placeholder text. And according to this YouTube comment left on a video of someone calling this phone number, the message that plays when you call is a recording of an old East German number station called G03, or The Gong, which, after listening to a recording of that number station, is definitely what this phone number plays. That's all we've been able to figure out about this phone number. No purpose, just a creepy recording and text message. This number has not been in service since 2022, so this is all we'll probably ever know about it. 216-333-1810. Upon calling this number, an automated female voice will let you know that you are accessing a case file via the US wiretap service. What begins to play is a recorded conversation between a woman named Mia and someone who she calls either Robbie or Mommy. It's kind of hard to tell. Mia begins the conversation frantically, telling the person that she is trapped at a club after a crazed man walked in and stabbed someone, presumably her friend named Joey. The person she called responds by offering to call the cops, but Mia says that the cops are already there, and they're the ones that have locked everyone inside the club. And screams can be heard as Mia asks the person on the phone to take care of her dog and pleads for God to save her life, and the recorded call ends.
U.S. wiretap. Case identifier 71839J. File accessed. Begin playback. Hello?
Robbie! Robbie, are you there? Oh my God, I'm at the club and
Mia, what the hell?
Get me out of here. I'm gonna die. Oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Out of context, this message is terrifying to hear, but it was just part of an ARG-style marketing campaign by the band 9 Inch Nails for their, at the time, new album, Year Zero. A USB drive was found in the bathroom at one of their concerts in Barcelona, Spain, that contained a leak of the 6th song from the album, along with another file that contained this phone number to call. This was only one part of a large ARG spanning multiple websites, hidden codes on merchandise, hidden USB drives, phone numbers, emails, and even actual cell phones given to fans attending meetups. If you want to learn more about this ARG, I recommend you go watch this video by Wuchia, where he goes over every part of the game. Unfortunately, this phone number has been out of service for quite some time, so you can't experience the chilling recording like it was meant to be, but there are multiple recordings of it online if you want to hear the whole thing. 877-772-7377. More famously known as 877-77-CREEP, this was a number that was owned by the company Creepy Co., a business that made horror-themed clothing and other merch. Calling this number would give you the choice of what creepy thing you would like to hear, with options including hearing a scary story, creepy music, ASMR, and corny Halloween-themed jokes.
Greetings, Creep. Thanks for calling our secret hotline. Press 1 if you love a good dare. Press 2 to hear about the hide-and-seek champion. You know you still love a classic tune. Press 3 for that. Press 4 for some spooky ASMR. Hit 5 for a scream of a deal. And press 6 for a palate cleanse and your dad with love.
It was a fun, lighthearted, slightly spooky phone number, but unfortunately, like many other numbers on this iceberg, it is no longer in service. 678-999-8212. This was just the phone number that was featured in Soulja Boy's song Kiss Me Through the Phone. Calling the number signed you up for Soulja Boy updates through text messages, and according to the man himself, he was making $100,000 a month just from people calling and texting this phone number. I did find two people talking about how this number was actually cursed. The first was this kind of hard to understand Reddit comment. This number is actually cursed. It's an urban 2017 legend that happens when people call it. It's not to debate on religion, but rather seek information of urban legends and creepypastas. It hangs up after a ring, but you need to call it a couple of times for it to go through. People heard "I see you" when I picked up. Don't call it. Stay safe. And this random TikTok. But yeah, it's not cursed. It's literally just Soulja Boy. 503-654-9900. According to this post on Reddit, calling this phone number starts off with a voice repeating hello, hello, then entering a series of DTMF tones, which are the sounds produced when pressing the numbers on a phone, followed by the pound sign gets you error, star gets you cleared. Stay on the line too long or guess the code wrong too many times, and you get hung up on after bad error.
Hello. 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 Hello.
And that was all I could find about this number. Momo's numbers. Back in 2018, the Momo Challenge was the hot, new, viral, scary thing of the week, where supposedly kids were being harassed on social media by a user named Momo, whose profile picture was an image of this statue created by Japanese artist Keisuke Aso, urging them to do violent or dangerous tasks similar to the previously viral Blue Whale game. Well, it has never been 100% confirmed that anyone is actually harmed because of this challenge. It caused a worldwide panic about children's safety online. The children who reportedly spoke to this Momo were contacted through Facebook messages and told to text various phone numbers from Japan, Mexico, and Colombia. All of these phone numbers could be traced to WhatsApp accounts with the name Momo and the profile picture of the odd bird-like statue. While most messages to these Momo accounts would just be sent into the void with no answer, the few that did get a response received disturbing messages ranging from insults and not safe for life images to dangerous challenges meant to lead someone to harming themselves. There was even a part of this Momo story that involved Momo appearing in the middle of videos on the YouTube Kids app to tell the kids to do dangerous things or they would harm the viewer's family. But that's just the story that was passed around on the internet. The only part of this entire Momo craze that was proven to be true is that you could find Momo on WhatsApp and text them. 800-240-0207. This is another number that was very difficult to find any information about. From Reddit, the number you have dialed is invalid. How though? Please check the listing and try again, ×2. Afterwards, it also played the da-da-da, your call cannot be completed as dialed, as I'd usually hear if I dialed an invalid number. But I don't see how it is. The call timer also never starts. And that's about it. It may have had a creepy message play at one time, but I wasn't able to find anything. 202-020-2020, or 2020-2020. Back in the 1970s in the UK, it was said that if you called this number, a woman would answer and in a crackly, monotone voice would repeat, help me, Susie's dying, help me, Susie's dying," over and over. There have been many accounts online of people who remember calling this number as children, with the most well-known account being by a Rob Dickinson from Worsthorne, Lancashire, UK. Back around 1975, when I was 9, some of the kids I knocked around with insisted we all pile into the nearest phone box to hear a spooky message. By dialing a number, I think it was made up of zeros, twos, and ones, and without needing to insert a 2p, a woman, speaking in a curiously monotone voice, could be heard saying, help me, Susie's dying," over and over. Some of the lads said she sometimes said, help me, Susie's drowning," always in the same slow, seemingly bored tone of voice. Was it some weird engineer's test signal, hence no money needed? To this day, we don't know much of anything about this number, if the message was even real, and if it was, who was behind it. 800-588-2300.
800-588-2300 Empire. Today.
800-240-0071. Calling this number, you will only hear "no roots found" repeated over and over in a monotone voice.
No routes found. No routes found.
978-435-0163. Known as the sobbing or crying man number, if you call this number, you would hear a looped recording of a man sobbing in what sounds like a large, hollow cave, his voice echoing and water faintly dripping in the background. Eventually, his crying is cut off with a beep, and that's where the message ends. The only thing known about this number is that it's from Massachusetts, the same as the other number a few tiers up with the banging noise. This is yet another number that is out of service now, so that will probably be where the trail of clues for this phone number ends. 408-634-2806. This number is known across the internet as the Red Room number. Allegedly, if you were to call this number or answer a call from this number, your location would be traced and someone would be sent to kidnap you and bring you to a dark web Red Room to be or Others online report that if you call the number, you will hear an unsettling deep voice speak to you, as well as some creepy music.
All's well that is well. See you again, my father.
However, red rooms, as the internet believes them to be, have never been proven to actually exist, and fortunately, calling this number is definitely not going to lead to your kidnapping. This phone number was actually a tie-in for the mobile game, Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP, and the message people heard was actually part of a puzzle for players of the game to solve. Creepy out of context, but in reality, just another fun piece of marketing. 207-404-2604. This phone number was shown at the end of a trailer for the remake of the movie Carrie from 2013. Upon calling the number, a girl would answer the phone. "Hello? Hello? Who is this?" she would say. "Are you from school? It's just, if my mom catches me," her voice would be interrupted by her mother shouting in the background, followed by the girl screaming and pleading with her mother. The mother then takes the phone and says, "Don't you dare call this number again," before hanging up on you. Then you would be asked if you wanted to opt in to continue your experience with Carrie. If you pressed 1 to opt in, you would be called 3 separate times. The first call would be screaming, the second would be eerie singing, and the third time would be whispering.
My mom catches me.
Harrietta!
No, Mama.
Go to your closet, pray.
No!
Oh, no! Pray, little girl. Pray for forgiveness. Oh, no! Let me out!
I know where to go in here.
And God made Eve from the rib of Adam, and Eve was weak.
Yet again, this number has also been out of service for a while, but there are videos on YouTube of people calling this number if you would like to see what it would have been like. 904-910-2267. This is the only number on the whole Iceberg I wasn't able to find a single thing about. If any of you watching this video know anything, please leave me a comment and tell me, because I've spent a ton of time trying to find anything about this, and I would really like to know what this one was supposed to be. 800-240-4269. When you call this number, a voice would read out a string of numbers. 4000-500-4671141341742. The next time you called, that string of numbers would be slightly different. 4000-500-0586711413472. You could call the number 2 more times, and each time the voice would read out a slight variation of the string of numbers. The 5th time you would call, it would read out the first string of numbers again. I tried to call this number myself because of the lack of info online, but each time I just got a message that said my call could not be completed. So this is one more number to add to the list of unsolved phone number mysteries. 828-756-0109. Around 5 years ago, if you received a call from this phone number and answered, a man, in a worried and rushed tone, would read out the following. The same message would play if you called the number yourself. The numbers this man is reading out is binary code that translates to the word death. Around 1 year ago, though, if you called the number, it would play Everyone Knows That or Ulterior Motives, the popular Lost Waves song that was found and identified around that same time. And not the normal studio version of the song, it would play the version from the original media the song was featured in, noises and all, if you know what I mean. Around the same time, some people were saying that instead of playing Ulterior Motives, calling the number would play this song that I absolutely cannot say the name of instead. I tried to call this number for myself to see what would happen, and it would immediately disconnect before anything could happen, so rip in peace to this number, I guess. 800-231-0637. All this number supposedly does is play the song Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix on a loop. I tried to call this number to try it out, and the call didn't even want to go through. 669-444-1925. Similar to the story of Momo, this number is tied to an Indonesian urban legend called Yotano. Around 2020, a Facebook account belonging to someone called Yotano began to be recommended to Indonesian Facebook users. The first thing many of these users noticed was the unsettling nature of this account's profile picture. A simple drawing of a girl with long brown hair, black eyes, and a black mouth. If a user was inclined to message this profile, they would send you some sort of code you were supposed to solve, and if they could not figure out, would be sent a string of 1s and 0s, followed by more ominous messages. I see you. Wait, I want call you. Then they would receive a call on WhatsApp. Somehow, Yatano had gotten a hold of their personal phone number, and now Yatano was trying to start a video call. If the person answered, according to the people online, they would see a grotesque, dare I say, hyper-realistic version of Yotano's profile picture. This whole story is very interesting, especially because it seems like we don't hear too much about overseas internet legends. The blog The Ghost in My Machine did an awesome write-up about this whole situation, and I'll link it below. And if creepy phone numbers, weird internet mysteries, or scary ritual games like this interest you, please go check out their whole blog. They were a huge resource I used for research and a jumping off point for many phone numbers I talked about in this video. But for a quick summary of what became of this Yatano story, in the end, it just ended up being another copy pasta someone created to go viral and be passed around. Red numbers. These are phone numbers that show up colored red on your phone when they try to call you. It began as an urban legend in Nigeria in the early 2000s. If one of these called you and you answered, you would be met with a certain frequency that could make you lose your hearing, mess with your brain, or even kill you. 347-875-7628. The only information I was able to find on this phone number came from the OP of the original Iceberg post, that this number belongs to a private company that belongs to the upper class. To be honest, I don't know. I only found it on one IRC chat room a few days ago and haven't found anything on it since. The original description of it in the IRC room was a company that's meant to be private but called a random dude. I don't know much about it since that's the only description. Mirror numbers. Last but not least, we have mirror numbers. According to the creator of the Iceberg, apparently it's a number that calls you that is almost identical to your number besides one or two of the numbers. Is this another case of doppelganger phone numbers? Or maybe it just came from the number neighbor trend that was going on a few years ago. But again, and pretty anticlimactically, the only mention I could find of these mirror numbers came from the original Iceberg post, so we may never truly know what they are or what is so creepy about them. Welcome to the end of the video. If you've made it all the way here, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. It really means so much that someone would want to listen to me talk about anything for this long. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more creepy videos like this. I know I make videos about a lot of different topics, but I've got a couple horror-themed ideas cooking for the future. So, I'll see you next time. Bye.